Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Thursday, April 13th. Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith. It's our final massive regular season card of the NHL season. We do have two more regular season games tomorrow on the final day of the regular season, but this is that final big, massive, double-digit number of games betting slate that we have to work with this season here in the NHL. And obviously, it's a unique slate. We have, by the way, 15 games on tap tonight in the NHL. Some games that just playing for exercise for both teams. There are some games involving seeding implications, who you're going to play in the first round. There's still some division titles on the line entering tonight. But the one thing we can tell you, and we said yesterday, we hinted at it, that we may need to be in a spot going into the final 2 days of the regular season where we know all the playoff teams, and that is indeed true. We know all 16 playoff teams. Every playoff spot has been clinched after the New York Islanders clinched the very final spot with that second wild card spot clinched last night with their victory over the Montreal Canadiens, eliminating the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we know the 16 playoff teams, and we know who's going to be in the dance when the Stanley Cup Playoffs begin on Monday. We just don't know the matchups yet, division titles, home ice advantage, all that kind of thing. It'll still be determined in a lot of different divisions here and situations in the last couple of days. Alex, it's a very unique card to handicap when you're this close to the end of the regular season, the second to last day. This is the final game of the regular season, game 82 for all but four teams in the NHL tonight. And but we've got some unique angles. I mean, I've got a lot of props that I've bet. I can't wait to share them with our viewing and listening audience. It's all based around players looking for their 50th goal or their 40th goal, or looking to break an NHL record or a team record in franchise history. There's a bunch of those spots tonight involving player, accolades, player achievements, if you will, that they can get on this final game of the regular season. And we're betting all the props accordingly based off that. So hopefully that ends up being profitable. But obviously, Alex, looking forward to this big card and a unique one indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it always is. Like I said, it's unique and different. And this is one of those times where you have to look for those different angles and derivative wagering really is your friend. We've been talking about it all week, but especially on the last day, and some of these teams having the, swan songs, obviously different scenarios around the country. Of course, the biggest one we were talking about off air is this will be the final game for Jonathan Toews, the captain, in the United Center tonight against the Flyers. And not sure how much everyone knew or didn't know about this. Knowing that management and front office, they probably had some stuff planned for a while, and they just kind of made it official today. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Of course, except teams are still battling for division spots. A couple plays that I have are related to those teams and what they need to clinch division titles. So yeah, it's an interesting kind of a card, and you'll definitely get to see the watching and listening the variance and difference between Ian and I, because I'm sure Ian, like you said, you got a lot of player props and you load up with stuff. I pretty much have a whole lot of nothing. I got about maybe 4 or 5 plays that I've made personally, and I do like them quite a bit. And it's a couple of things I might lean toward, especially like I said, we're talking in regard to player props. But as far as sides and totals, this is a day where I really kind of stay away from just straight up sides, straight up totals.
Yeah, and again, this is just a situation. I agree. I'm more into the props today, believe it or not, than the sides and the totals, because it's a little bit dicey, especially in the games where there's either teams out of the playoffs playing head to head, or there's teams that both teams have clinched everything. They're locked into their position in the standings. They can't move up or down. So those become the games that are a little bit more tricky, difficult to handicap, get a read. I mean, we don't want to play Dr. Fraser Crane. I love that show growing up. Great sitcom, but we don't want to play that game, play Dr. Fraser Crane and get into the heads of these players at this time of year. But unfortunately, you kind of have to, on a night like this tonight in the, like I say, it's the final regular season game tonight, game 82 for all but 4 teams. Buffalo, Columbus play each other tomorrow, as do Colorado and Nashville. tomorrow night. So other than that, everybody else is wrapping up their regular season tonight. Just quickly on the 2 games last night, congrats Islanders, clinching the final wild card spot in the East, eliminating the Pittsburgh Penguins, who I have zero pity for. I have zero empathy for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have only themselves to blame. You lose to the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2 at home. Good night. You don't deserve the playoffs at that point. So congrats to the Islanders, and congrats to Dustin Wolf, his first NHL victory and his first NHL start for the Calgary Flames last night in a 3-1 win. And who had Nikita Zadorov getting the only 3 goals for the Calgary Flames and getting a hat trick on their bingo card going into that game last night. But what a great night for Big Z. What a great character he is, too. His post-game press conference was hilarious, talking about his big night. And his interview on Spittin' Chicklets earlier this season was hilarious, too. So great character. Great to see someone like that have a night like he did, getting the hat trick for Calgary. But Alex, just briefly on the 2 games last night, the headline being Islanders in, Penguins out.
Yeah, and like you said, can't feel bad for Pittsburgh one bit. I mean, that's like I said, the comments, I still laugh about it from Evgeny Malkin about, well, this team should have been a little bit younger. It's like, yeah, right, he shouldn't have been there, and other guys shouldn't have been there, and Jeff Carter
Letang shouldn't have asked for the money he got.
Right, and 7 extra years, like it's absurd. And so, like I said, they made their own bed. Now they lie in it, and Sidney Crosby gets to play a little more golf than usual this summer. And the Islanders, they're in, but they're a playoff team because they're in the playoffs. That's it. They're not a playoff team on the ice the way that they've played as of late. So now they've got to try to more than likely end up playing the Boston Bruins. But their summer probably be ending or starting a little sooner than some of the other teams that have qualified for the playoffs in that. And the Dallas game, I mean, that's the game that I really enjoyed. Dallas and St. Louis, didn't really mean too much. Obviously, Dallas now in a position to play them again tonight to try to capture the division. But, a lot of scoring back and forth. I was really happy to cash in with the second period over live. Literally 70 seconds after putting in the bet, first Dallas goal to make it 3-2. A couple of minutes after that, 4-2. So that was a easy cash to have, and actually kind of looking back toward that game too for today. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how these division races, sort out. And I'm glad that we're going to actually have everything hopefully laid out to the point where we can actually, get maybe series prices a day early. We wanted to be doing those as we're on the air for the playoff preview on Saturday.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that. We have, of course, tomorrow is our final regular season show. It'll be the Friday cast of characters. It'll be me, Alex. I believe we're getting joined by both Jimmy Murphy and our guy, Nate Rapensky, tomorrow, who's joined us on several Fridays throughout the season. And then, of course, Saturday, we're going to have, of course, and by the way, we'll get Jimmy and Nate's thoughts on the playoffs tomorrow, since they won't be joining us over the weekend before the playoffs start. And then Saturday, we're going to have our Stanley Cup Playoffs preview show bonanza. And I mean bonanza. We're going to tackle every series in depth, series prices, series handicap, minus 1.5 games, that kind of stuff. How many games is the series going to go? And I know Alex has his eyes on multiple series to end up in a sweep or a 5-game series in this opening round. So there's going to be a lot of chatter about all those derivative bets and those prop bets for the Stanley Cup playoffs in the first round on Saturday. And it's going to be me, it's going to be Alex, and it's going to be a goaltending factory joining us apparently on the show Saturday, because we're going to have Eddie Lack joining us. He'll be our special guest. Looking forward to that. And he's a bettor. So that's what's great about having Eddie on the show. He throws it down. That real estate revenue of his, he's throwing it down on various sports. So Eddie Lack will join us Saturday. And, of course, our regular Saturday contributor, Kevin Beach, is going to be back with us as well. So it's going to be Ian and Alex in a swarm of goalies around us on Saturday. I don't know if we'll be able to handle it.
We'll have to keep our goalie jokes to a minimum, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, no 5-hole jokes or anything like that. Yeah, with them around. Yeah, exactly. No, indeed. And then what's great about Eddie Lack is he's the king of self-deprecation. He's very comfortable, poking fun at himself. It makes him a great guest. And he was a lot of fun last year. He had his buddy on with last year when he joined us during the playoffs. So definitely looking forward to that on Saturday at noon Eastern, our normal Saturday time, our Stanley Cup playoff preview show. All right, let's get into the Thursday card, 15 games, and we'll begin in Beantown, Montreal Canadiens, Boston Bruins. We've got Boston minus 340, home favorites, 6.5 the total in this one. This game's an interesting one just based on Boston trying to finish out their season schedule. The way I see it now is Boston has been playing to win throughout this stretch. Now, they have accomplished truly everything now. Number one in the East, check. President's Trophy, check. Wins, all-time wins record in a single season, check. Points record in a single season, check. They really truly have nothing at all but pride in wanting to finish the season with a win at stake tonight. But, it wouldn't shock me if they go out there and give it Boston, because that's just the kind of team we've seen out of them this season. You look at the lineups tonight. Now, there is no David Krejci tonight, no Tomas Nosek, and Linus Ullmark is out, and they're going with Jeremy Swayman. But, really, it's still guys that are a little bit dinged up that are out of the lineup. Anybody that's well enough to play, nobody's being rested. The people that are out tonight for Boston have minor injuries. So, they're not resting anybody, which tells me they're interested in winning game 82 here tonight, the Boston Bruins. And as for Montreal, it's a tough spot for them. I thought they gave it a hell of an effort last night against the New York Islanders, trying to play spoiler. I don't think they played that bad of a hockey game. They ended up falling short in the end. The Islanders defended extremely well. You talk about lockdown hockey when they had that 3-1 lead in the 3-2 lead, I should say, in the third period. The Islanders did that. That was a defensive clinic by them against Montreal. They just made sure, hey, we're not even going to get close to giving up this 1 point that we need. And sure enough, they ended up winning. Montreal on the back-to-back here on the road. Montembeault in net again for the Montreal Canadiens, which means this is going to be a back-to-back for him. And, I'm always a little bit leery of that. So this is a game where pre-game, I'm not really going to get involved much in it, side or total. Maybe we get involved live in-game with something, depending on how it plays out. But, I just have zero interest, side or total, pre-game here. What do you think, Alex? Montreal, Boston?
Yeah, I don't have any interest in this one either. And it's funny because, this is a rivalry game, right? But obviously with Boston, like I said, making history, and Montreal just getting ready to go on vacation. I just don't see where there'd be much animosity here. Like, Boston, like I said, they're playing their stars. Their starters, and like I said, resting guys who are a bit banged up. They just want to keep things rolling and ready because they know they're going to have time off before game one. So I don't know if, like I said, it could be where Boston, maybe they're interested early. They jump out to a lead. They kind of just, sit back, and then maybe the Habs come back and tie it or do something crazy. So definitely is a live game. Wouldn't have anything to do.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where if you get involved, maybe it's based off something you observe. There is actually a bet I will say that I do like in this game, and I actually have bet it. It's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's David Pastrnak over shots again. This guy is just like, he had 8 shots on goal, I believe, the other night, and he's had multiple games lately with 6, 8. I think there was a 10 spot in terms of shots on goal he had in a recent. Like, he's flying over, and you think 4.5 is usually a pretty big, steep, tall number when it comes to shots on goal, but he's making it look small, David Pastrnak, on a nightly basis for the Boston Bruins. So I say, if you've been betting it, and I have been putting a few bucks on that prop routinely, especially here down the stretch, keep rolling with it. It keeps cashing. So yeah, Pastrnak over 4.5 shots on goal. Go back to the well with that. That's really, and Matheson too. Matheson for the Montreal Canadiens. We've talked about how he stepped up his, joining the play a lot more, shooting the puck a lot more. So his shot on goal prop might be a good bet here as well. But yeah, Pastrnak over 4.5, -130. And again, Mike Matheson for the Canadiens here as well at the over 2.5 here, -140. I mean, those are two pretty good shots on goal props if you were to ask me here in this game. It's probably what I'll look at more than anything else. Pittsburgh, Columbus. We've got the Penguins -220, road favorites, 6.5 the total. Believe it or not, I'd be closer to betting Pittsburgh here than Columbus, and you would think, wow, really? -220 road favorite after getting eliminated officially from the playoffs, having their hearts ripped out, the Penguins. What incentive do they have to show up here, and really are they going to be in it mentally and spiritually, if you will, emotionally, for after a very disappointing end of their season, missing the playoffs, especially for this core of Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and missing the playoffs is gut-wrenching. And I feel, what I feel bad for? Jason Zucker. This guy laid it out on the line all season long for the Penguins, and what a season he had. He gave it his all every game. He's blocking shots left and right, heart and soul type of player. To not get in the playoffs for him, he's the guy I feel bad for on this Pittsburgh Penguins team that they didn't get in. His effort was outstanding all season.
Oh, him and Chris Letang. I mean, the guy had a stroke, his second stroke, and came back and played. Yep. Fought off another injury, came back and played. That's another guy. I mean, that's tough. Obviously, like I said, I still think his contract's insane, but, to go through all that, and I think he's, at this point, it's a shoe-in. It's either him or Alex Stalock for the Masterson Trophy. My guess, it's got to be I haven't seen the odds for that, but I don't think he's an overwhelming favorite, obviously, to have overcome what he did, come back and play at a high level still. Like I said, not worthy of number one status, in my opinion, moving forward, but still just an incredible story nonetheless. And it is unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's it's been, like I say, Letang's story and his dad, of course, passing. It's everything that he's had to deal with this year, and it's unfortunate for him. No doubt about that. Crosby too, because Crosby, was very good and down the stretch, tried to will his team in with his performance, but too little, too late for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Chicago game in particular is the one that comes back to haunt them. So yeah, initially I was like, "There's no way I'm taking Pittsburgh," and I still have not bet Pittsburgh, and I won't bet Pittsburgh, but I think backing Columbus here, even in their home finale, is even more of a dubious proposition. You see this lineup that they're putting out there. If this isn't a headline or a billboard sign in neon lights flashing "bad for Bedard, bad for Bedard, bad for Bedard," I don't know what it is, because this is definitely a sign of a team that's looking, I think, to lose. They're littered with it. It's an AHL roster, right? It's Ray Bryce's Kalamazoo Wings, if you will, and the ECHL kind of looking team here. The ECHL affiliate of the Jackets tonight. I mean, you've got a lot of new faces. You got Michael Petilla, Tyler Angle, Samuel Nasco, Emil Bemstrom, Hunter McCown, Una Luoto. I mean, it's definitely a team that is just, you're looking like all of these players are either called up from the AHL affiliate, or just even getting a college look straight out of college. So this is definitely a team that, especially in the bottom six, I mean, it is thin. It is inexperienced.
That's an owl roster. You keep looking at the list and you go, who?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, that tells you all you need. And even on the blue line now, although I do want to say, they got Gavin Bayreuther, Andrew Peak, Tim Burney, Adam Boquist, Billy Sweezy. The one guy that is making his NHL debut tonight on the blue line, he's actually going to be, I think, a pretty good player for them. And he was Connor Bedard's teammate last year in Regina with the Pats, Stanislav Svozil. I mean, I think he's going to have a really, really good NHL career. This is a really good young defenseman. I'm actually interested to see how he plays here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But yeah, former, again, teammate of Connor Bedard, and actually could be a future teammate of Connor. I know Alex is like, no, stop. He's covering his ears right now as I'm saying that. But Connor Bedard could be a future teammate of Stanislav Svozil as well here in Columbus if the balls bounce right on draft lottery night for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But yeah, I'm interested to see how he plays. I mean, even some kind of prop. I haven't seen any yet for him, because usually the guys that are just called up, they're late to the draw in terms of posting props for those kind of players, but definitely keep an eye on him. He's going to be, I think, a good defenseman in this league. For me, I would look at over 6.5, and I would look at both teams to score in the first period. I mean, and I'm going to be on those two bets in a lot of games tonight. Not only the full game over, but that both teams to score in the first period. And this definitely has that feel of both teams finding the back of the net here in the opening 20 minutes. Let's keep in mind that even though it's a thin Columbus team, it is still their home finale. I don't think they completely mail it in, and they've still got Johnny Gaudreau, Marchenko, Johnson, Roslovic's been, contributing lately. Liam Foodie's actually a good prop on Columbus. This guy all of a sudden has really stepped it up. He has, points now in 3 of the last 6 games. He scored against Philly. He might be worth a look from a prop standpoint for Columbus. But yeah, I think it's going to be a loose environment. Nobody's going to play a whole lot of defense. There's no need for either team to do that, especially Pittsburgh now, too, after getting eliminated. So over 6.5 and both teams to score in the first period. And if you actually look at the Penguins and Jackets, it's been more overs than unders in the series history. And we know the last time they played each other in Pittsburgh, that was a shootout back and forth. Alex, what do you think? Penguins, Jackets?
Right there with you. I got that over 6.5. I laid $1.20. At this point, if you see $1.30, you could lay that, but I'd probably even go 7. At this point, you should be able to get 7 at plus 110, plus 115 if you're getting $1.20 and $1.25 at 6.5. So I wouldn't shy away from that. I think this is going to be, pond hockey the entire time. I like that both teams to score first period. I like over 2 at plus 115. So I'd probably chop a unit up, just scatter it amongst all of the overlooks. And if I had to play one team total over the other, it would definitely be Pittsburgh. Except I think they might just look to take some frustration out of this bad Columbus lineup.
Man, do I love that price too on the both teams to score first period in this game in particular. Plus 150
Wow, that's amazing.
MGM. It's a really good price there.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I think Columbus on home ice is going to want to get on the scoreboard. I think they will have energy at the start, especially these young kids. You know, they're getting the first taste of the NHL. A lot of them. I could see them putting one past a spirited Pittsburgh team in the opening period. But we know Pittsburgh is always going to be a threat to score throughout this game against that jacket defense, and which is Swiss cheese and Michael Hutchinson, who is going to be in net again for Columbus. So, yeah, I think that plus 150 is just a great value for a good chance of both teams getting to a 1-1 score here in the opening 20 minutes. All right, Ottawa-Buffalo. We've got Buffalo minus 140, home favorites, 7 being the total here in this game tonight, Senators and Sabres. This is an interesting one because you've got Buffalo off the heartbreak of their, well, not really heartbreak. I think they knew deep down inside, like they weren't going to make the playoffs, but to be officially out now, going into their season and home finale, you know, you wonder if where their heads are going to be at for this game. Ottawa had their home finale the other night against Carolina and played really well. Actually, Ottawa's played 2 really good games in a row after getting eliminated officially against Florida. Since then, they beat Tampa at home and they beat Carolina at home. You got to give them a lot of credit, Ottawa, for doing that. But this is different now. This is your final game. You're going on the road now. Do you have that same intensity? Do you have that same desire to put a W on the board here in Buffalo tonight if you're the Senators? And it is Buffalo's home. And I think Buffalo, from what I'm reading here, is they really appreciate, you know, the strides forward they've made as a franchise, even though they fell short of the playoffs, and they want to send the home fans happy. So it's a tough side to bet here in this game, you know, because Ottawa's playing well, but do they show up for their road finale here? Buffalo, I think they want to win for the home fans in the finale, but at the same time, they just got bounced from the playoffs, you know, after their last game. So, and I don't want to lay $140 with them tonight necessarily, or aging Craig Anderson, of course, who has been confirmed as the starting goaltender tonight. He hasn't played in a while. At the same time, there's a lot of rumblings. They were very direct, the Buffalo reporters, asking Craig Anderson, what future plans do you have? Have you made any decisions about your future? And he said, I haven't yet. I'm undecided, but I know I'm starting tonight, and we'll see if this is it. But, you know, he said, you know what he said, though? He said, I'm undecided, but he was really going on about how he's enjoyed mentoring the young Sabres goalies this season. And he really went on about that, not so much his own playing career. And it makes me think he's probably leaning toward retiring from playing and maybe transitioning into a goalie consultant, a goalie development coach, potentially for the Buffalo Sabres. Like, he was really just spouting, you know, just praise and just fulfillment and enjoyment about tutoring and mentoring Comrie and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Devin Levi and all these young goalies for the Buffalo Sabres that have been on the team and gotten starts for them this year. So, you know, this has that feel. It could be the Craig Anderson retirement game. It really does. So, you know, that's why I think Buffalo can bring it. And it's actually got me kind of leery about my initial looks, which I have bet already. Now, I haven't bet the full game over, but I will look for a 6.5 because I don't bet it at 7. I'll look for a 6.5 in this game. I still like it, and I'm going to go forward with it, even though, because like I say, Craig Anderson, they may want to win for him. Craig Anderson may want to play one hell of a game. Craig Anderson has not played great hockey in his recent starts. Let's be honest. We've got to call it for like we see it. He has struggled, you know, down the stretch in some of his recent starts. And I think with just the, again, another game where I expect a loose environment, you know, neither team's going to be lining up to, you know, protect the front of the net, block shots, any of that. So I'm going to go ahead with both teams to score first period here as well at plus 125 in this game. Alex, Senators and Sabres.
So this was going to be a total pass for me, but based on hearing that, and like I said, if that is the case where he's really close with that goaltending unit and that team to the point where he could be sticking around even if he's done playing, then I think we might see a strong effort from Buffalo. So I would lean to taking Sabres in regulation at a plus price. I don't know if that'll make my final card. Like I said, I'm keeping it low volume today, but that's the only look I would have for that. Otherwise, this would have been just a complete scratch off.
Yeah, why not Dylan Cousins? Because if I think Buffalo's going to play hard, I think that's one of the guys that'll always play hard when the team plays hard, and that's Dylan Cousins. So we've been liking the props for Cousins all season. Why not one more time? At least, actually, I shouldn't say one more time because the Sabres do have one more game tomorrow. They're one of the 4 teams finishing their regular season tomorrow, but they finish on the road at Columbus tomorrow night. This is their final home game, and it will be the final start for Craig Anderson. So
do we see a 7.5?
Feels and looks and smells and sounds and like a retirement game. It really does for Craig Anderson.
Do we see 7.5 tomorrow with that Buffalo Columbus?
Well, if it's Levi in net, I would be betting over 7.5.
I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying just how bad Columbus is, and if depending on if Buffalo decides to bring up some Rochester guys potentially,
which could happen. Yeah. Absolutely, that could definitely happen. So it'll be again with especially tomorrow's games, a bunch of the games tonight. With checking the rosters, definitely. Stuart Skinner for the Buffalo, or not Stuart, Jeff Skinner for the Buffalo Sabres here. His shots on goal prop has been really good lately, really good. Now, he fell short the last game, but prior to that, he had 4.75, 3.64. He'd been constantly going over 2.5 shots. I'd go back to the well again with Jeff Skinner here for over 2.5 shots on goal tonight as well for the Buffalo Sabres. All right, Carolina Hurricanes and Florida Panthers. We've got Florida minus 120, home favorites here, 6.5 being the total in this one. This is a game where it's meaningful. There's something tangible at stake for both teams in this game tonight. Of course, the Carolina Hurricanes, we know where they are in the standings right now, 111 points, 1 point ahead of the New Jersey Devils for first place currently in the Metropolitan Division. So it's very simple for Carolina. They will clinch the Metro Division if they defeat Florida tonight in any fashion. So it could be a regulation, overtime, shootout, doesn't matter. If they beat Florida tonight, Carolina are Metro Division champions. If they get 1 point tonight and the New Jersey Devils lose to the Washington Capitals in any fashion, they would also clinch the Metro Division. Or they could get in if the Devils lose in regulation against Washington. Regardless of what Carolina does, if the Devils were to lose in regulation, Carolina's Metro Division champs. But I don't know if they want to leave that to chance, quite honestly, because I don't think Washington's beating New Jersey tonight. But so there's Carolina will want to show up, but man, I'm telling you what, Alex, I'm concerned about Carolina. They're not playing their best hockey going into the playoffs. No. This week has not been good for them. Losing to Buffalo, losing to Ottawa, with all due respect to those teams, that's not good for them. So, yeah, they need the win, and, yeah, that's a pretty good price, for Carolina, plus 100, but I ain't taking them. I'm not. As for Florida, I think this is a significant game for them when you look at it. No, they're not going to say it publicly. Paul Maurice hasn't said it publicly. Matthew Tkachuk hasn't said it properly. None of the players, Montour, Ekblad, go on down the list. They haven't said it publicly, but there's got to be a belief, a collective belief that deep down inside, if they were to talk amongst themselves in the dressing room, like, hey, guys, do you really want to play the Boston Bruins in the first round? Like, really? Do you really want to be a team that's got to go up against the mighty Boston Bruins, this all-time great regular season team that's been dominant all season? Do you really want to play those guys in the first round? And I would think they would, if they're honest with themselves, Florida Panthers players would say, yeah, of course not. We don't want to play Boston in the first round. So for the Florida Panthers, yes, there is something at stake here for this game tonight, and that's avoiding Boston in the first round, which the Florida Panthers would do if they even just get 1 point tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. 1 point. If this game goes to overtime or a shootout, regardless of whether Florida wins or not, they will leapfrog the New York Islanders based on the tiebreaker. And the Florida Panthers, with 1 point, or obviously a win, of course, they would leapfrog the Islanders, and they would end up playing the Carolina Hurricanes, the likely Metro Division winner, in the first round, as opposed to the Boston Bruins. So, I think if you're Florida, you got to ask yourself, kind of put this, Dr. Fraser Crane cap on again, like I've said. I think that this game is meaningful to them, and getting the point that they need to avoid the Boston Bruins, Alex, in the first round, I think it's meaningful to the Florida Panthers. So guess what my bet is in this game? The draw. Absolutely. I like the draw here in this one because, look, with Carolina, a draw on its own isn't good enough, to clinch the division championship. Okay, it's not good enough. They need the win. But with 1 point, they could always take it to chance that New Jersey loses in any fashion to Washington. It would still be valuable, and it would still be a huge point for them to try to clinch the Metro Division. But for Florida, all they need is 1 point to get past the Islanders and avoid the Bruins in the first round. So draw for me in this one with the Hurricanes and the Panthers. Alex, Carolina, Florida.
Yeah, definitely on the draw there as well. But I'm also taking a shot, and it's funny because it reminds me a lot of what I said just a year ago when Florida was playing Tampa Bay. If everybody remembers that second game, I said, I'm taking Florida Panthers on the first period puck line. If they don't show the effort that they need to win the game in the first 20 minutes, they're toast the rest of the way. And that's kind of how I feel right now about Florida. If they don't show the effort to win this game early, and of course it's different because they can still win this game at 60, especially depending on how Carolina and how bad they've been. But knowing that either you can win this game and play this Carolina team that's not in the best of form, and at the same time, you set yourself up for an opponent, and now you got to see them, before you actually start a series with them. Or you don't show up, you play the beast that's the Boston Bruins, and, it's pretty much going to be curtains from there on out. So I'm taking a shot with Florida. First period puck line, it's as high as plus 180 at FanDuel and a couple other books. They need to come out guns blazing because, you want to avoid Boston, and you want to play this weekend's Carolina team. So, it's twofold. You're putting yourself in the best possible advantage. Now that you're in the playoffs, try to put yourself in the best situation after making it difficult for yourself for the last 4.5 weeks. They should try and do that, and they need to get off to a hot start. But if they don't, if they're just same old Florida and Carolina comes out motivated, then, it's the beginning of the end. Probably, like I said, one game here and maybe 4 down the road.
Yeah, no doubt. So, like I say, I think Florida's coming to play. It's their home finale. A, that's another reason they're coming to play. But B, I think it's the fact that they're looking to avoid the Boston Bruins here in this first round series. So we'll see if they are able to do that. By the way, I forgot there's one play. This is a night of milestones, and I'm looking at players that have a chance, to get to a tangible milestone number. Or an achievement, like 50 goals, 40 goals, 80 points, 90, 100 points. We're going to get to a couple of players looking for 100 points tonight in the NHL. I think are good player prop bets. I missed one on the Ottawa Buffalo game, and that's Timmy Stützle. And I'm going to do a Timmy Stützle goal prop. I'm going to do a Timmy Stützle over 1.5 point prop because 2 points tonight gets him to 40 or 80 points, I should say. No, 90. 90. 2 points from Timmy Stützle get him to 90 points tonight. He's at 88 right now. 2 goals for Timmy Stützle tonight against Buffalo get him to 40 goals. So I'm going to do a little Tim Stützle to score a goal, just a tiny little bit on 2+ goals for Tim Stützle tonight as well against the Buffalo Sabres, and also that point prop because, again, he's 2 goals away from 40 goals. He's 2 points away from 90 points. Those are milestone numbers. I think there's some incentive inside for any player to get to those kind of plateaus, if you will.
We captured lightning in a bottle earlier this week with Jack Hughes. Would this maybe be a last goal sprinkle worth?
Why not? I'm already taking 2+ goals for Stützle tonight to get to 40 because he needs 2. So why not? Why not sprinkle on the last goal prop too? So have some fun. Have some fun on a night like this. That's what these player prop bets are. They're small bets, but man, they're fun. And man, if they hit, you don't have to bet much to see the profit. That is for sure. No doubt about that. So definitely Stützle, which I failed to mention earlier. We got another one of these type of deals tonight in this game. Detroit and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 240, home favorites, 6.5 being the total in this game. This is another first period, both teams to score for me. Red Wings and Lightning here. I like it quite a bit in this game. It looks like it's going to be Ville Husso, who really hasn't played well here the last few games, but he's kind of been abandoned by his hockey team. Like they've been awful defensively these last few games. The Pittsburgh loss was brutal. The Dallas loss, they got shellacked in that game. The Carolina game, they lost 4-1, and they weren't great defensively in that game either in front of Nedeljkovic. So they've really had a tough time. And again, they're kind of going through the motions here, Detroit down the stretch. But I do think in the first period, though, still you could see them get on the score sheet. I really wanted to take a small shot with Detroit here, but we just haven't seen enough out of them down the stretch. They kind of look like they're ready for the golf course already. It looked like they were ready at the Pittsburgh game on the weekend, and since then we just haven't seen a pulse from the Detroit Red Wings. But at the same time, there's no freaking way I'm laying minus 240 with the Tampa Bay Lightning, with Brian Elliott in net, with a team that had their full roster and Vasilevsky in net against a Toronto team resting 2 of their best players, and they still couldn't beat them the other night, 4-3, losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And so Tampa Bay, we know, there's some questionable, dubious motivation concerns on their side. entering this hockey game tonight against the Detroit Red Wings. So, like I say, I like both teams to score here in the first period, because even with those concerns, I mean, Detroit's just been giving up a lot here down the stretch at the defensive end of the ice, and I think that probably carries over here to this game. So you can get plus 155 at BetMGM for both teams to score in the first period. I like over 6.5 as well in this game at minus 115. So it's another one of those both teams to score first period over 6.5 dual bets for me in this game. And we're also going to rock Braden Point to score a goal tonight. Again, we talked about this the other night for the Tampa Bay Lightning against Toronto. He didn't get on the scoreboard that night for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but he needs just one goal to get to 50 on the season and become a 50-goal scorer. So to me, it is an obvious bet here. Braden Point for the Tampa Bay Lightning, anytime goal score. And even here tonight, Alex has been talking about the last goal kick that he's on right now. If they're up, 3-2 in the third period, they pull the goalie, Detroit does, down 3-2, and Tampa Bay doesn't have a goal yet at that point in the game from Braden Point by that time, and he still needs that one goal to get to 50, and they got a chance to give him and feed him an empty net goal. They will. So definitely the last goal prop, plus 750. If you want to sprinkle a couple bucks on that, you can do so. But yeah, plus 106 looks to be the best price that I see with Braden Point, anytime goal scorer. So yeah, I like that look a lot here. Braden Point to get to 50 goals tonight, plus 106. Alex, Detroit, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to tail that. And like I said, I'm going to split a unit between that anytime goal and last goal at plus 750. I think those are good looks to have. Like I said, those are the kind of spots. You can't just hit that with everything, right? Like you have to be super selective. And it's got to line up, like I said, you have to look at the pros and cons of it. Like there was the reason for the Hughes play is that, okay, well, what happened was the con in the sense of he didn't have a good game. He got a chance to score that goal late. The pro was that with the 100 points, I hope that he'd had a good game and that, he just be lucky enough to have the last goal. So you're relying way more on luck here than circumstance with Point at this price. But like I said, I mean, you're splitting it like just a half unit on it. And if he gets a goal early, you already have that in pocket too. So you got yourself secured out of the way. And this is a game I don't really like from side or total perspective. So that'll be my only play.
All right, Braden Point, anytime goal scorer. The last goal, probably plus 750 shot worth a look. And like I said, the both teams to score first period over 6.5 combo. Definitely looking towards that. Yeah, Perlo, I mean, it's a disinterested Lightning team potentially. It's Brian Elliott in net. That's not a bad consideration with Detroit as well with their team total over 2.5. And like you said, it's only minus 115. Definitely wouldn't object to that. Toronto Maple Leafs, New York Rangers. We've got the Rangers minus 135, home favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this game. The Rangers, nothing at stake. They're locked into third. They won't have home ice advantage in the first round. And now they're just waiting to see if they play New Jersey or Carolina in the first round, which will be determined tonight. So not a huge team incentive on the line for the Rangers, other than sending the home fans home happy at Madison Square Garden tonight in their home finale. Here was the quote from Sheldon Keefe the other night after the win against Tampa Bay. It's a beauty of a quote. He says, quote, "This was a game where it looked on paper like a meaningless game. Our players didn't allow it to be a meaningless game for them. And the way they played for one another tonight, I couldn't be more prouder of them." That's a gem of that's a team that is, I think they're trying to sharpen their game up for the playoffs, honestly, Toronto. They have not mailed it in. They beat a Florida team that needed points. That's a great quote. It looked like a meaningless game on paper, but the players didn't allow it to be a meaningless game for them. And to talk about the Florida game, the Tampa games that they won back-to-back. So I'd be reluctant about laying the price against Toronto tonight. They look like they're trying to sharpen themselves up and keep this little late season vibe going into that with that momentum into the Tampa Bay series next week. And plus, look, you look at it, you'd think in most circumstances you bring up the minor league goalie and maybe you're going to have some trouble. Not Joe Wall. I mean, man, does this kid continue to impress right now for the Toronto Maple Leafs? How many saves did he have against Tampa? Like 45? 46 saves, a very impressive performance. He's getting the start again. They're being very cautious here with Ilya Samsonov. They just don't want to overload him. He's played a lot of hockey give him the rest that he needs to be ready for game one against Tampa Bay next week. So it will be Joseph Woll in net. And it looks like for the Leafs tonight, they're doing their usual rotation of defensemen sitting because they've got too many of them on their roster. So tonight it's Giordano and it's Gustafsson. It looked like we're going to be out for the Leafs on the blue line, but they're still, going forward with Brody, with Hall, McCabe, Liljegren, Riley, and Shen as their 6 defensemen tonight. And like I say, all the big guns up front are playing. There's not a single player up front other than Sam Lafferty, who's injured, that is out for the Leafs tonight. Everyone's playing. Michael Bunting, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner on the top line, Matthew Nyes, who really played, I think, a terrific game against Tampa the other night. I thought that was a great second game in the NHL from him, with Ryan O'Reilly and William Nylander on the second line, Kerfoot, Achari, and Calle Yarncrook. Like, everybody's playing. All hands are on deck here. Or it's Tavares, actually, is not playing. I think you're right. It's JT, Johnny Tavares, that's out for the Leafs tonight. Yeah, I did see that now. Yeah, John Tavares. So John Tavares is out. And he hasn't really gotten much rest during this stretch. So I think he was due to probably have a game where he's out. But no, other than that, it's still a pretty full lineup here for Toronto. So I haven't bet it yet, but I'm definitely leaning Toronto at the plus 115 price in this game. And this is a game where, from a player achievement perspective, we have some great prop looks here. We have 2 players, one on each team, Alex, looking for 40 goals tonight, and they need 1 goal to get to 40. William Nylander for the Leafs, Mika Zibanejad for the New York Rangers. So give me the goal prop for both of those guys tonight. William Nylander for Toronto, Mika Zibanejad for the Rangers. And what's funny about Mika Zibanejad is, you know what you should bet for him too? Because I was seeing what he was saying about this game in the to the media. He was talking about the fact that I need 41 more goal to get to 40, and I'm going to try to shoot the puck a lot to get to. He said, it was quoted as saying that I'm going to be shooting a lot to try to get to this 40 goal mark tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So not only do I like Zibanejad goal scorer prop, but tack on that shots on goal prop as well. When you hear a player direct statement say, I'm shooting the puck a lot tonight, if that's not a flashing green light right in your eyes to say bet over shots on goal, then I don't know what is. So yeah, over shots on Zibanejad tonight. I see over 2.5 at minus 145 at BetMGM. So definitely, like I say, I think they're all good looks there. Nylander and Zibanejad to hit 40 goals, and all they need is 1 here tonight to get there. Alex, Leafs and Rangers.
Yeah, I'll be betting that when we go to commercial. I'm going to probably be looking for 4 or more shots at a plus price. You can do that with a lot of books. I know Bet Online's one of them. So that, along with the goal scores, that's great information, and well done finding that out. But yeah, that's great. Like I said, those things matter to some players, and we can capitalize on that. Hopefully that number won't be beaten down too much. I'm surprised it's still 2.5s everywhere, honestly, after that. So maybe I'll move at some point. So grab it now sooner than later. But far as side goes, yeah, I'd have to look toward Montreal as well. I mean, this is, like I said, this team knows what they have to do to finally, accomplish their goals. They can't lay back. They can't afford the luxury of what Boston and some of these other teams can do and rest. They have to keep pressing right now. They know that it's for their own mental sake. And you beat a team like the Rangers, a team that more than likely you feel like you'd have to play to get through into the conference finals and a cup final. They're going to take this thing seriously, I feel like, based on that. And hearing those quotes of affirmation from Keith, I think that's just going to make the guys feel a lot better. And so, like I said, Woll has been tremendous. He's certainly not a fade, and I actually do trust him more than Yaroslav Halak, who I saw projected for the Rangers. Yeah, $1.15. I'll take Toronto as well. So I go Zibanejad goal prop, Zibanejad shots on goal over. Like I said, I'll have that exact number when we come back out of our break. Once I bet that, and then I'll be going Toronto money line plus $1.15.
I forgot to mention this one. Yeah, Mitch Marner over 1.5 points plus 180. For me, that's a must bet. Now, you cannot bet a single point prop for Mitch Marner. Every book has him at 1.5, but it's a plus 180 price. Take the shot that'll get 2 points. Take a chance that'll get 2 points. He needs 1 point to get to 100 points this season, Mitch Marner. But you can't bet Marner to get a single point, and you wouldn't want to anyway. It would be like minus 280, minus.
I was gonna say it'd be probably 3-1. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So take the shot that he gets 2 points tonight in this game against the Rangers at plus 180 Mitch Marner over 1.5 points. I think that's a good look. Now, again, he only needs 1 point to get to that century mark, 100 points on the season, but might as well just go for the over 1.5 points here for Marner tonight for the Leafs. And he is playing. I think, but plus he got rested the other night, and I figured he wasn't going to get rested 2 nights in a row. But a big reason, too, he's playing tonight is I think they're trying to get that 100-point season in the books here for Mitch Marner. All right, next up, we've got the New Jersey Devils and Washington Capitals. New Jersey minus 175, road favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this game. As far as this one goes, I just think New Jersey is obviously still has the division at stake. Now, they have clinched home ice. The minimum of getting home ice in the first round, they have clinched that. So the worst they can do is finish second in the Metro Division, in which case they'd be facing the Rangers, but they'd have home ice against the Rangers. But as I mentioned, the Devils can still win the Metro Division. There is a way that can happen for them. Tonight, if they win they can clinch the Metro Division if they beat Washington and if Carolina loses to Florida. If those 2 things happen, New Jersey beats Washington and Florida beats Carolina, then you're looking at the New Jersey Devils as Metropolitan Division champions. So obviously, because the division can still be won, there is a pathway for that to happen. You've got to believe that this is a game where New Jersey's showing up. And I know it's Washington's home finale. I thought the effort was not bad against Boston. They hung around, they didn't go away even after every time Boston scored. But I still think New Jersey's just too good for them. I like the way the Devils are playing at the moment going into the playoffs. They've played some pretty good hockey. I think they can go into Washington here, take care of business. So this is going to be the same 2 bets that I took with the Dallas Stars last night against the St. Louis Blues. We're going to do the split here. We're going to go a little bit half on New Jersey in regulation at minus 110 and half on New Jersey minus 1 at minus 115 in this game. So split bet, Devils minus 1 on the puck line, minus 115, as well as Devils in regulation, minus 110. Alex, Devils Capitals.
Yeah, I'm just going Devils in regulation minus $1.10. Like I said, this is a spot where they got a chance to at least clinch, the chance of putting a banner up in that building next year, if nothing else. And like I said, put themselves in a good position having home ice. So Washington, they hung around against Boston, but at this point, I think the Devils just going to have a little bit more pep in their step here. Maybe even a lean with the first period puck line, but definitely going to be taking that regulation price line at $1.10.
Yeah, and look at it from the looks of things. Now I believe he's still a game time decision. There is still that hint that Ovechkin suits up tonight, but he's battling that upper body injury. They haven't been rushing him back. I don't know. I'm not buying it that they're going to put him in there all of a sudden. Final home game. You've been out for weeks. They've shut down TJ Oshie already. They've shut down, Nick Dowd and Van Riemsdyk and Connor Brown and others. I don't know if this Washington team would be rushing to put Ovi in there tonight. I'm not expecting him to play, but they keep saying game time decision. But nevertheless, doesn't impact my decision. Kemper and net, by the way, for Washington tonight in the finale. We don't have a confirmation for the Devils here in this game tonight. It was obviously Vitek Vanacek in the game against Buffalo on Tuesday night. I expect it to be Vanacek tonight, but some sites have Blackwood projected, which would kind of bother me a little bit. But at the same time, after he gave up those 2 early goals against Boston, he actually played very well Saturday night the rest of the way in that 2-1 loss to the Bruins. 38 saves on 40 shots. It actually was one of his better performances in a while. But nothing regarding Ovechkin, nothing regarding who's in net for New Jersey gets me off the bet. That I just want to point out. It doesn't impact my decision. I'll still be on the Devils here.
I would be really leery of betting in New Jersey anything series related. Just strictly off the fact that if Vanacek goes down, it's either Blackwood or Schmid. That they pretty much toast, right? If in the first round, if they have to go to those 2. So that's just something I'm noting now. I'm making a mental note out loud and on tape, basically, for something we'll be talking about Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. No, some sites, again, have Blackwood projected, but there are a couple that still have Vanacek projected. So we'll see how it plays out. But regardless, like I say, I like the Devils here. Oh, and by the way, in terms of situations tonight, we talked about Jack Hughes the last game for the New Jersey Devils, where he needed a point to get to the record, and he did in that game against the Buffalo Sabres with that empty net goal where he got to 97 points, the single season franchise record in points, 97. He needs 3 points to get to 100. I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't, like, Washington's been giving up goals lately. We certainly don't trust them defensively. It's not like Kemper's played great here down the stretch. So this is a spot for me where I'm going to get involved with Jack Hughes over 1.5 points tonight for the New Jersey Devils in this one. So that's Jack Hughes over 1.5 points plus 135. Pretty good price. He needs 3 to get to 100 points, but all we need is 2, obviously, to cash the prop. So over
no last goal this time.
I'd be tempted. Yeah, because look, this is an opponent he can get 3 points against.
Right.
No question about that. And that's all he needs to get to 100 points. So, yeah, Jack Hughes. We just want to. Yes. So, again, right. Now we got to be careful when we say Hughes involving New Jersey. Yep. Jack Hughes over 1.5 points for the New Jersey Devils, as he's 3 points away from obviously hitting 100 points. All right. We'll take our mid-show commercial break right now. Everybody in the chat, appreciate it. 191 live viewers on YouTube. Hit the like button. We've still got 8 games left here on this Thursday card, but it's a fun card to talk about, unique one. So we'll be back in just a second with the remainder of Thursday card right after we hear from Gramco.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Gramco. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta-8 THC products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta-8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. Gramco is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta-8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. And if you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code ICEGUYS, you will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta-8 products today.
All right, we're back. We've lost Alex for a second. Obviously, internet conked out, but we'll get him back momentarily. In the meantime, let's roll along. We've got many more games still to go, including Minnesota and Nashville. We've got Nashville minus 150 home favorites, 5.5 the total here, shaded to the under in this one. Should be interesting to see how this one plays out for Minnesota because of the fact that, you know, from their standpoint, the loss to Winnipeg and things that transpired involving Colorado and Dallas immediately after have put Minnesota in a position where they're locked into third in the Central Division. They will start the first round on the road for game 1 next week. So this is essentially the quote-unquote meaningless game for the Minnesota Wild here tonight against Nashville. But Philip Gustafsson is in net. Very interesting decision here that even in a game where there's nothing tangible for the team to achieve here tonight, that Gustafsson will be the starting netminder here for the Wild in this game. We don't have a goalie projected for Nashville yet, but expect it to be UC Saros. We just haven't had the confirmation of that. Of course, this will be Nashville's first game after playing Calgary, which was the game that officially eliminated them from the Stanley Cup playoffs the other night. Valiant effort from this undermanned Predators team. Definitely have to give them a lot of credit. But where are their heads at? I don't know. Where Minnesota's heads at? I don't know. But I did bet something in this game, and I think you already know what that is, the draw here with the Wild and the Predators. Now, I could see that with, again, but there's nothing tangible on the line for either team. These two teams just typically play close games more often than not. And Nashville in particular, you know, has played some overtime. The Calgary game went to overtime, of course, over in their last game. We know Minnesota's no stranger to seeing their games go beyond regulation. So, you know, nothing really tangible at stake for the Wild or the Predators tonight. Give me the draw, plus 330. Alex, what do you think here? Wild Predators.
Yeah, the only thing I could play here would be the draw. I mean, I was trying to justify maybe could we see some scoring early and then grab a live under? Because the thing is, you know, Minnesota, they're going to bubble wrap 97. He may not get any ice time in the third period, right? And a couple other top stars. They just want to keep everybody healthy and fresh and ready. I think we could see this thing kind of slow down a bit. 5.5 is scary for an under, but if there was ever a time to play an under pregame at a 5.5, it might be this game. I can't see where the goals come from. So it's a lean for the total. It's a play on for the draw, and that's about it.
Yeah, and this is one of those times where Nashville's going to look at the opposing roster going into one of their games and say, we're actually the healthier team. And they haven't, or the team with the more regulars in our lineup, which they haven't been able to say very often, because for Minnesota, Zuccarello is out, Sundqvist, Steele, Jared Spurgeon, Kirill Kaprizov, Marcus Johansson, Ryan Hartman, of course, and remember, he's serving a 1-game suspension. He couldn't play if he wanted to anyway. Joel Eriksson with his injury, Jonas Brodin, rest, Matt Boldy out. I mean, that's like more than the core, more than the nucleus of the team. Right there, sitting out tonight for the Minnesota Wild.
So this is the Iowa Wild, essentially. Then, yeah, I definitely would be looking toward that under a bit more.
Yeah, I'd probably be tempted to play Nashville, but at the same time, minus 150. Not at that price. Not after they just got knocked out as well from the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, and plus they have another game tomorrow. By the way, Nashville.
Right.
They have 2 home games to finish the season. They're back home tomorrow night against Colorado, facing the Avalanche. So
that was
the final home game angle for them either. That's tomorrow night.
Yeah, that was the water main break game, right?
That's right. I think that's the makeup game. Exactly.
Yeah,
I think Buffalo Columbus is a makeup game too for a snowstorm earlier this year. Yeah. That's the only reason there's games tomorrow night. The season was supposed to end tonight across the league.
Damn weather taking away an off day from us.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's the only reason they had 2 games tomorrow night on the schedule. But the draw to me is just the clear option here in this game. I'm just looking at the player stats. From what I recollect, I don't think there's anything in this game in terms of milestones needing to be achieved. Plus, all the players that were looking to get milestones from Minnesota aren't even playing anyway. So, it's not a game that I expect that to be something to look at in terms of players looking for some big milestone or big achievement. All right, Blues and Stars. We've got Dallas minus 270, home favorites, 6 the total. It's back-to-back for these 2 teams, home and home. It was in St. Louis last night. Pretty easy victory for Alex, and I think we were both on the Stars there last night against the Blues, and they get the job done. And I know Alex had an in-game, because I just happened to see it on Twitter after the fact, that he had the over in the second period, and I think he just got it in. And you talk about timing, I think he just barely got the thing in, and there was a goal like 20 seconds later, and then the second goal was not too long after that. So talk about timing.
It was actually 70 seconds between when the bet was confirmed and that goal, like in real time, 70 seconds between that and the goal being scored. And I think it was another 2 minutes after that when the second one came in. So yeah, it's about as quick and easy as it gets for a live wager.
Yeah, no doubt. That's always fun when you see that. And it's that quick, that easy, and you just time it perfectly. There's no better situation, obviously, in live betting than when you just know you've hit it perfectly as far as the timing of your live bet goes.
Did I mention I was in a bar and I was doing that on my phone as well?
And you somehow pulled it off.
Yeah,
exactly. In terms of milestones, Joe Pavelski needs 2 goals to get to 30 in this game tonight. I told you yesterday, you bet that friggin' guy to score. And it was plus 220 last night. He is on fire. He is on absolute heater right now for the Dallas Stars. So I like Dallas again here, but you're not getting the value you did in St. Louis. And it's Binnington, by the way, in net tonight for the Blues in goal. It'll be Ottinger for Dallas after we saw Wedgwood get the start last night for the Dallas Stars. But I still would, I certainly would be Dallas or nothing for me in this game. I'm just looking at the prices, like the regulation in Dallas is just not a good enough price for me at minus 153. The -1 isn't even that great. So you'd probably have to go puck line or nothing with Dallas. But the team total, I could see going over that number. But even the team totals minus 150, I might put a couple bucks on that. I just don't love the price as much as I would have liked with the Stars team total. But it's minus 142 at Pinnacle, which is a little bit more digestible. So the Stars, if you like that team total over 3.5, it's at minus 142. Yes, the Cuban Wayne Gretzky, I contemplated that Jason Robertson is at 46 goals. He needs 4 to get to 50. But how plausible is it that he scores 4 goals in one game? I mean, do you want to sprinkle on a hat trick? Again, this is a night to have some fun with these props and these players looking for a big achievement type of number. And Jason Robertson's got obviously the capability against a team like this to explode offensively and get to 50. But at the end of the day, while the Blues do have defensive issues, you do need 4 goals, and that's not easy to achieve that. But if you want to maybe at least sprinkle on the hat trick prop for Jason Robertson, that's not the worst consideration. But I like Pavelski to not only score, but I'm going to sprinkle on Pavelski to get 2 goals tonight for the Dallas Stars to try to get to that 30-goal mark, which I think he's had 30 goals in his career so many times that adding another notch on the belt, so to speak, another season where this great veteran player, Joe Pavelski, hits 30 goals in a season, I think that's something he'd be interested in getting that, as far as I'm concerned. I think that's something he'd want, getting to that 30-goal mark here for the Dallas Stars moving forward and into tonight. So, definitely when I look at it, Joe Pavelski, he's got 28. He needs 2 for 30. I'm going to come right back to the Pavelski anytime goal scorer prop tonight, as well as a sprinkle on him to get 2 goals in this game tonight as well for the Dallas Stars. Again, the goal prop on its own is plus 195, the best price for Pavelski to get a goal, and the 2 goals prop is around plus 800, 850. So again, pretty good prices there for those two. And at the Stars team total, I will bet that as well, over 3.5. Alex, St. Louis, Dallas.
So I bet this first period over 1.5. I laid $1.30. I like it all the way up to $1.40. And it made me think of this is an interesting thing. We didn't talk about it with the goalie props for saves over. Would that be a good look for pretty much most of the goaltenders tonight? I can't imagine anybody getting pulled, right? Especially if you're looking at teams like, let's say, Minnesota with Gustafsson, and maybe that would be the time that they maybe split and go half and half or do something kind of crazy. But you want to look for guys that, who, unless they get hurt, probably wouldn't be coming out of the game. Like we were talking about Craig Anderson. If this is his last game, we'd probably go his over saves prop just because even if he were to get lit up, he still would probably stay in the game. So is that some kind of angle to maybe look at with some of these goaltenders potentially?
Yeah, definitely. It's something to monitor. And it's why save props, you're right. Be a little careful with them tonight. Be a little bit careful because there's going to be some teams totally disinterested. If they're totally disinterested, the opposing goalie's not going to get over saves. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
This might be a night to actually experiment with maybe a couple under saves props. Yeah. And if you really think it's going to be a light night for somebody.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why it's funny as I'm saying this and thinking out loud. I'm thinking now with the Gustafsson, because I know somebody in the chat mentioned why is Gustafsson starting for the Wild. I don't quite get that either, and I really hope that doesn't mean that they're going to try to start Fleury in game 1. So maybe they go half and half there. Give Gustafsson some minutes, and then let Fleury finish out the game. Maybe if you start seeing where the game gets a little physical, maybe you start seeing some goalies get pulled out. So maybe it's probably now that we're talking about it, might be a game to stay away from goalie props altogether. Yeah. Because we don't know where we can see it. And obviously with those teams that are qualifying, they don't want to get anybody hurt. Maybe they pull, especially you think about Shesterkin, the reason why he's not even starting in New York. They're going to want to try and keep Halak in as long as they can. But some of these other teams that are risking it starting goalies, they might try to pull them out or already have that rotation set up, kind of like what we see in preseason.
Yeah, definitely. That might be something to consider too. With maybe Gustafsson, give him half the game. Who knows? Maybe You're right. Just give him half the
Makes
game.
Sense.
See that? Maybe that's just to keep him fresh. You're right. Just get him in there so he's not going from Thursday until next Monday or
Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be the thought process. Not to give him the whole game. So all the more reason be careful with the save props maybe in some of these situations tonight. There is something I wanted to say too about this. The permutations here for involving Dallas and the division with Colorado. So the way it works is that Dallas will clinch the Central Division if they beat St. Louis tonight in any way, and Colorado loses to the Jets in any way. So basically, if they get a win and Colorado loses to Winnipeg tonight, Dallas is your Central Division champion. But again, that's what they need tonight. Now, if both teams end up let's say Dallas wins and Colorado wins tonight, then the battle for the Central Division goes to tomorrow. And the final day of the regular season tomorrow is when it'll be decided in that final game with Colorado and Nashville tomorrow night. So this may not be determined tonight, your Central champ. We might still need Friday's game between Colorado and Nashville to determine things. All right, next up. Go ahead.
Wait, that brings up an interesting thing. Should we bet, if you think Colorado will need the game tomorrow, shouldn't you bet them now?
Yes.
if possible, because
Yes.
that number is going to probably go up to like minus 500 in the morning if they need that game.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. There's no question about that, because there's no that is the scenario where that game does mean a lot for Colorado. They need the win tomorrow to win that division, or at least a point. It will be if both Dallas and Colorado win tonight, because as of right now, actually, you know what? Colorado will need to win, because if they both win tonight, Dallas is still going to end up being a point ahead of Colorado. So they would need the 2 points. So that is 100% true, that if you think Dallas beats St. Louis and if you think Colorado beats Winnipeg, and we'll get to that, I'd be shocked if Winnipeg, based on the roster they're putting out there tonight, is going to beat Colorado. If you think the Stars and the Avs both win tonight, which I think is going to happen, bet Colorado tomorrow night against Nashville right now. Don't wait, because you're right. Everyone will see that, and the price is going to end up going up on that game. Absolutely great piece of advice right there. All right, Philadelphia and Chicago. We've got Philadelphia minus 120, road favorites, 6 the total in this one here tonight. With and obviously the headline is Jonathan Toews. We say goodbye to him as a member of the Chicago Blackhawks. The best captain in Chicago Blackhawks history, Alex? I think you got to say yes, right?
Yes, absolutely.
No doubt. But based on the team achievement, individual achievement, everything that they accomplished as a franchise on his watch, we're in the sea, there can't be a debate that he is the greatest captain in Chicago Blackhawks history. So I'm sure it'll be an emotional night at the Madhouse on Madison tonight. The place will be buzzing. This, to me, it's Chicago or nothing if you're going to bet this game, because look, I mean, you should say in theory they shouldn't win because of Bedard and, enhancing your odds, and and I think, to be honest, they've lost the battle to be the dead last team anyway. That's going to Columbus now, as far as I'm concerned. So you might as well go out there, put on a hell of a show and a hell of a game in the goodbye and the bon voyage and the farewell to Jonathan Toews, and play one hell of a game. So I am sprinkling on Chicago here, even money, plus 100 in this finale against the Flyers. Normally you would think, we just technically ended a team's playoff hopes and ended a team's season with that win against Pittsburgh and maybe a flat spot. But no, home finale, Jonathan Toews' final game. I can't imagine Chicago just mailing it in tonight. If they do, shame on them. No, I think you get an effort here from this group tonight. Philly, on the other hand, obviously they took care of Columbus in their home finale, albeit it was much more difficult than I thought it might be for them. They needed overtime to get past the Jackets in that game. But, yeah, this is a Chicago spot all the way. I'll take the bait. Chicago here plus 100. Alex, Flyers and Blackhawks.
Yeah, I'm on Hawks plus 100. I also have Jonathan Toews to get an assist at plus 170. I mean, he's had a wonderful career, and that's really what he's been known for. He was always the guy to facilitate. You see the highlight. I know I retweeted it, and it's been posted up time and time again. He had that cross ice pass to Patrick Kane in double overtime, 2013, in the Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, send them to the Cup final, of course, and just so many different moments that he's been a part of. But he's always been the facilitator. That's why he was a great captain. He just led on the ice, and always made everybody else around him a better player. As great as he was, he elevated everybody else's game when they were on the same line or in that same locker room. It's going to be emotional. And what better way to wrap it up at home against the team you won the first cup against, the Philadelphia Flyers. I think it's going to be a great night. Hopefully that place will be packed. I know it hasn't been 22,000 plus in quite a while, but if you're in Chicago, you're a Hawks fan, get your ass to 1901 West Madison tonight, 7:30, and see greatness for the last time. Like I said, the best captain in Hawks history saying farewell. So Hawks should win this.
Yeah, and of course, Patrick Kane will always be remembered for the Hawks for the incredible offensive ability. Toews was not at that level for Chicago offensively, but it's what he did game in and game out for this team. He was good enough offensively, especially in his younger days. He'd score goals. He'd be great with his vision and setting up his teammates, and he'd do all the little things. Win big face-offs, play in every situation, 5-on-5, power play, penalty kill, the ultimate leader, the ultimate fierce competitor. Throw down and drop the gloves when someone takes liberties with a teammate. Wouldn't hesitate. Lickety split. I'm coming after you. You're not getting away with that shit on my watch with this team. Everything, all the elements of what makes you captain material, Jonathan Toews brought it for the Chicago Blackhawks. No question.
I would say he's in the top 10 list of best captains all time. He's there with Messier and Yzerman, some of the greats. He's I mean, right off the gate. Keep in mind, he was the third youngest captain in NHL history. He's the youngest captain in Hawks history. They threw him right into that spot, and he led. You think about the first 2 years, the guys that he played with. I mean, these were tough-nosed '90s veterans who were way past their prime, but he put that team together and made something out of nothing, and that's why they were able to go on and win a cup just a couple of short years later. I mean, it's just incredible. And like you mentioned, there's the little things that don't always show up on the score sheet that he did well, or the things that are in back of the score sheet, like face-offs and killing penalties. And he brought a lot to that team on all different angles. Yeah, he wasn't the flashy scorer. That was Patrick Kane's job, and that's the thing. He understood his role, and he understood how to help the others in their roles as well. So it's just a fantastic hockey player. He will certainly be missed in a Hawks uniform.
He will. A great career. Like I said, the ultimate competitor, leader. I mean, there would be nights that Chicago, and especially in their comeback victories, and I've seen this because I've heard the quotes, I've seen interviews, I've seen some documentaries on and pieces that various networks have done on Jonathan Toews. There'd be nights the Chicago Blackhawks had nothing in the tank. They were terrible. They were playing awful. And there's Jonathan Toews in the dressing room, rallying the troops, fucking dragging his team into the fight. Essentially. And in a lot of those games, they would respond and they'd come back and win, especially during those glory years. And Jonathan Toews just, refused to lose mentality. It was a big part of that for the Blackhawks. So, yeah, incredible career. And it should be an emotional cauldron tonight there in Chicago as they say goodbye to Mr. Toews. Captain Sirius for one final time. San Jose and Edmonton. We've got Edmonton minus 550. Here in some spots, anywhere from minus 500 to minus 550 here. Home favorites, 7 the total. The way these kind of games have gone lately for these north of minus 500 favorites, maybe you take San Jose and hope for the best. I mean, well, we saw what happened the other night with the Pittsburgh Penguins in this kind of price range with their season on the line against the Chicago Blackhawks. But well, first of all, I don't want any part of Edmonton in this price, obviously. But at the same time, I also don't want to it's a totally different situation. Pittsburgh's been playing mediocre fucking hockey all season, which is why they're out of the playoffs. You can't say anything like that about Edmonton right now. You talk about firing on all cylinders going into that first round. My goodness, what a run this has been for the Oilers. Both ends of the ice. That's what's impressive, Alex. We know they can score. They've always been able to score. What they are doing as a team defensively at that end of the ice, that's what's impressing me. What they're getting from Stuart Skinner in net, that's what's impressing me about Edmonton right now. They have finally found that playoff gear, that way to win playoff games, the comfort in winning a low-scoring game, like they once again did against Colorado the other night. This is a dangerous friggin' team. I'm on board now. They've convinced me. They've hooked me. The Edmonton Oilers. They can win the West and maybe win the whole damn thing, with the way they're playing right now. Both ends of the ice. What will they get tonight? I mean, they've been great. I mean, I don't know if this is a mail-it-in spot. It's the final game. It is your final home game, too, in front of the Rogers Place faithful in Edmonton. It's a San Jose team that's been awful here down the stretch. Again, not really a lot of pushback. They got the first goal against Calgary last night. Plus, it's a back-to-back as well for them on the road. And now you see them having to play a surging Edmonton team. James Reimer is expected to be in net, by the way, for the Sharks tonight, as you'd expect with this being the back-to-back after it was Kakkonen last night for the Sharks. And it is Stuart Skinner. There's no rest for Skinner. They're going to give him the start here tonight. I think they figure, you got till Tuesday, probably when the first round starts, because I think the Edmonton series is starting on Tuesday.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, you might as well just play this final game, and that way you won't have too much rest going into that first round series. So, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. This is more of a game where I'm looking at props than anything else. I mean, even the over, I'm not really the San Jose Edmonton series has really been high scoring. So I think if I see a 6.5, I might look at the over, but not until I see a live 6.5 in this one. But as far as the first period, both teams to score, just because of the nature of the game, might be worth a look. Maybe Edmonton's just a little after the win against Colorado, sleepy early on. So the first period, both teams to score, I don't mind in this game, but this is mostly props for me. And we've got another situation here, or a couple. I think Emily in our chat hinted at it as far as Evan Bouchard is concerned. And she made the point. He needs 1 point for like a $200,000 incentive in his contract and 2 points for $400,000, bonuses in his contract, player incentives. So that means and look, I've been singing the praises of Evan Bouchard props for the Edmonton Oilers since Tyson Barrie got traded, because he's taken over the quarterback power play quarterback since as the main blue liner on the power play since Barrie got traded away. And so Evan Bouchard to get a point tonight on its own is minus 108. So just to get 1 point, it's minus 108 at FanDuel. It's a hell of a bet. You certainly got a motivated guy, to not only get 1 point for the $200K incentive, but 2 points for the $400,000 bonus, that would come his way. So yeah, Evan Bouchard to get a point at minus 108 is a great bet. And the other one, Alex, that I'm going to mention is, the greatest player in the world right now, Connor McDavid, who can get to 65 goals with one more tonight, which would tie the most goals scored in a single season in the NHL since the turn of the century. And that was Ovechkin in 2007-2008, who had 65 goals. McDavid can get to 65 with 1 goal tonight. And I'm not only going to take him to score 1 goal, I'm going for the 2+ goals to break Ovechkin's record from that 2007-2008 season. Ovechkin had 65 goals in 2007-2008. McDavid needs 2 tonight to get to 66 and break that record. And I'm going for the damn gusto here. Give me Connor McDavid goal prop on its own, minus 145, but I'll go with the 2+ goals at a really nice plus price as well. And I might even do the old hat trick sprinkle in the final home game as well for number 97, Connor McDavid tonight. Alex, Sharks and Oilers.
Yeah, I mean, Evan Bouchard, if I'm him, I'm beating Jay Woodcroft to the rink, and I'm waiting in his office, asking him for McDavid minutes, try to get that $400,000. That's a hell of an incentive. So, good luck to him. Hope he catches that. But this is a game. I mean, Oilers should put the screws to San Jose, but like I said, it's just, how do they come out? Could they be flat? Maybe San Jose, gets geared up for whatever reason early and kind of takes things out of order. So this one's a Singletary. Can't bet it. Can't watch it. Can't do it.
There you go. A Singletary special here for Alex B. Smith. We'll have to do that. Yeah. Can't watch this game. Can't bet this game. Can't do it. And that's the way he said it. That's exactly the tone of his voice. Is that can't do it. One of the classic press conferences when he was the San Francisco 49ers head coach, which seems like eons ago, and it really was.
Yeah, it
was a long time ago now that he had that little stint there as the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. So again, I'll look for a live over, a little sprinkle on the both teams to score in the first period at a plus price, and more than anything, I like Bouchard to get a point, McDavid to score 1 goal, 2 goals, and a little hat trick prop on McDavid as well, because again, he needs 2 to break Ovechkin's record for most goals since 2000 in a single season.
That poses an interesting dilemma for the last goal, right? What if McDavid has 2 goals, but now Bouchard's already got a point and needs a second one? So does it go Bouchard past McDavid? McDavid scores?
Yeah, exactly. You might just see that.
Yeah,
there's no question. And again, from a team standpoint, team accolades, Edmonton is 2 points behind Vegas, but they're still going to play with the outside hope they could steal the division from the Vegas Golden Knights. Probably not going to happen, but they can at least. And plus, they've already clinched home ice, but still, there's that outside chance with the division. Let me see the exact scenario. Yeah, the Oilers would clinch the Pacific Division if they win, and the Knights have to lose in regulation. So if the Knights get a point tonight against Seattle, they're Pacific Division champions. So there you go. They need not only a win against San Jose, but they need a regulation loss for the Vegas Golden Knights against the Seattle Kraken. That's going to be the tricky part, getting the second part of that to take place. All right, next up, we've got the Winnipeg Jets and Colorado Avalanche. Colorado minus 280, home favorite, 6 the total in this game. This opened minus 170. It's now minus 280, and I'm even seeing minus 300 in some spots. And you look at what Winnipeg's doing, they're taking a powder after clinching the playoff spot last night. Actually, it's not everybody that's out totally, but it's a lot, of their best players that are going to be sat down tonight for this Winnipeg Jets team. Plus, obviously, Connor Hellebuck not in net. It'll be Big Siv David Riddick getting the start as well for the Winnipeg Jets. But you look at the situation tonight, no Blake Wheeler, no Mark Scheifele, no Sam Gagner, no Pierre-Luc Dubois, no Nikolai Ehlers. They are all out tonight for the Jets. I'm actually surprised Kyle Connor is still playing for the Jets, but he is the one regular that's in. Niederreiter's playing. Nemesnikov prop. He's centering the top line tonight. I think if you're going to look at anyone on Winnipeg in terms of certainly from a value standpoint, Vladislav Nemesnikov is going to center the top line with Kyle Connor tonight and Nino Niederreiter. So maybe some value in his props tonight. Barron, Lowry, and Appleton on the second line. Carson Kuhlman, Kevin Stenlund, Saku Manalainen on the third line. Dominic Toninato, David Gustafsson, Axel Jonsson-Fialbi on the fourth line. So that is the Winnipeg forward lineup tonight. Brendan Dillon, Dylan DeMello, Dylan Sandberg, Neil Pionk, Logan Stanley, Kyle. I've got that Capo Bianco on the blue line here for the Winnipeg Jets. And Josh Morrissey is out as well on the blue line for the Jets tonight. And Nate Schmidt, injury related, but he's out as well. So, yeah, it's a very makeshift roster tonight for the Jets. It should be a layup for Colorado, especially with Riddick in net. I'm just going to keep it simple here. Colorado team total over 3.5. I mean, I don't want the money line, the regulation line, the value's gone pretty much with that. But surprisingly, there's still plenty of value in the Avs team total in this game, which I think is the absolute best way to approach it now with this money line price skyrocketing up to minus 280 like it has. So, yeah, I would definitely get involved with the team total here on Colorado. Over 3.5, minus 125 at Pinnacle. Great price. Really great price. I mean, and because, again, Winnipeg, they're just getting ready for the playoffs. They've accomplished what they needed, clinching the spot, in the final playoff spot. They know they're the second wild card team, can't move up. So, yeah, and Colorado obviously still playing to try to win a division tonight. So, Avalanche team total over 3.5. And we do have another milestone situation here and another potential achievement game here on the Colorado side. And it is the great Nova Scotian, Nathan MacKinnon. 39 goals entering tonight, 107 points entering tonight. I don't know. 110's that number that I don't know if there's a great burning desire for any player to get to 110 points. So I wouldn't go crazy about the point prop, but certainly I think he wants 40 goals, and he only needs one more goal, Nathan MacKinnon, to achieve that. So just a nice straightforward. He needs one goal to get to 40. A damn good chance he gets it tonight. Nathan MacKinnon, anytime goal prop tonight in this game. Not a great price, minus 115, but still, I think it's a rock solid bet. Needs one to get to 40 goals, Nathan MacKinnon. What do you think here, Alex? Jets Av?
Yeah, one of the first two bets I made this morning was Avalanche on the first period puck line. I got lay and a half to go at plus 110. If you can find plus money, I'd still play it. Don't lay a price. If you can't get the plus money, I'd just pass this game altogether. But Colorado should win this easily with that kind of mismatch Manitoba Moose lineup that they're running. So I think they have at least get out of that first period with a lead. I don't even care if they find a way to blow it or whatever. Like I said, even with the team total, they should be able to catch that. And if something goofy happens, they lose, they still at least catch those in. So stay away from sides, just kind of stay more goal adjacent with Colorado essentially.
Yeah, sticking more toward that first period. That is a good look too, which I actually might put a couple of bucks on it. What's the price on that? It's still actually not a bad price. Plus 130 for Colorado first period puck line at Pinnacle. So, yeah, good price there still. I'll probably put a little on that. A little split there. First period puck line and that team total over 3.5, which is minus 125 at Pinnacle. All right, LA Kings, Anaheim Ducks. LA minus 260, road favorite, 6.5 being the total. Here in this game. As far as the LA Kings are concerned, their situation is pretty much set in stone right now. You look at the standings, they're third in the Pacific Division. But there's that outside chance, I guess, Seattle could take the third in the Pacific from them. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think Vegas is losing tonight, but that could be something that does occur. But like I say, I think if you're LA, more than anything, you want to, I think, start to build some momentum again going into the playoffs because you lost a few games in a row there against some pretty good teams. You finally got off the schneid and you beat Vancouver the other night. I think you want to come in here and you want to finish the season on a winning note. And I think the Kings have a pretty good chance of doing that here, obviously, against the struggling Anaheim Ducks. As far as the Ducks are concerned, obviously, we know that this team has been just absolutely dreadful. At the defensive end of the ice. Not that it's a shock to anybody at this point, but they've obviously had all kinds of problems keeping the puck out of their net all season long. I don't know if things are going to change necessarily. Jonas Korpisalo has been confirmed in net for the LA Kings tonight in this game. We don't have a goalie confirmed as of yet here for the Anaheim Ducks. John Gibson right now is projected on multiple sites, but again, we're not so sure about that 100%. They've been cautious with playing Gibson every game here down the stretch, but it is for Anaheim final game. So I think we'll see Gibson one last time tonight, even though Dostal has been getting his share of starts lately for the Anaheim Ducks. So we'll see how this one goes, but I think LA, there's some incentive on them to get this final win and have some momentum again on their side going into the playoffs. So this is one where I might take a little shot here on that first period puck line, -0.5, +130 at Caesars, +125 at some other books. I don't mind that look. It's probably the only consideration I'd make on this game. Alex, Kings and Ducks.
I got to make a note of what's in the chat here, saying that BetUS has Mika Zibanejad and William Nylander to both have over 3.5 shots at +470. If you have a BetUS account, by all means, fire away on that. That is wild.
Yeah. And their shot props are, well, Nylander's is always 3.5. Zibanejad's is 2.5, but both of them to get 3.5 at over 3.5 at that price. Yeah, that's a good price. That's a really good price.
That's a wonderful. And this is the night where those, created props and some of those things that the books offer you, they're your friend tonight. You wouldn't want to be doing those every day during the season, but I'm seeing odds boost on Jonathan Taves.
FanDuel, you can manipulate it to get Zibanejad and Nylander over 3.5 shots. So even though they don't offer a specific prop promoted right on the screen on the sports book,
you can make it.
Go into the shot prop category for each game. You can manipulate it to get both Mika and William Nylander over 3.5 shots at a nice price.
Yeah, if this is a player prop game, or day for you, you're probably going to need about a good hour and a half to put everything in and bet tonight with some of these things. But like you said, but it's worth it, and especially when you talk about maximizing your profits, of course. So it's time well spent when these things cash. But as far as the Kings Ducks game, I'm just going to go over 6.5 minus $1.10. It's the last time we get the betting over with John Gibson this year. Like I said, Kings need to win. Try to get some practice in, basically, to get ready for the playoffs. So I think we'll see goals here, like over 6.
All right, over 6.5, and that's a great segue to the next game, because this game next that we're talking about is the one that I do like the over in. It's Vancouver, and it's over, and it's 6.5 as well. Vancouver and Arizona. We've got Vancouver -150 road favorites in this game. The total 6.5, pretty much across the board. This is the Eddie Lack Cup. Of course, he'll be joining us on Saturday. I said they should make a trophy and give it to the winner of this game tonight, and have a figurine or an image of Eddie Lack as a trophy, and just wheel it around after the game. There you go. It's basically the team that Eddie Lack played most of his NHL career with, Vancouver, against the team from the city where he's basically, calling his new home now. So there you go. And he'll be there actually in attendance for this Canucks Coyotes game tonight at the Mullet Arena. I like over 6.5. There's nothing really more to say other than that. I think you're going to see a pretty loose atmosphere, two teams finishing out the string, and I think you're going to see it play out that way as far as this game. Kuzmenko, yep, you're already hitting on what I was going to get to. Absolutely, Cuban Wayne Gretzky in our chat. Andrei Kuzmenko to get a goal. He needs one to get to 40 goals. It's absolutely the right bet here. He's going to want that mark, especially in his first year, his rookie year, to say, I got 40 goals in my first year in the NHL. Yeah, there's no doubt incentive for him to score 40, and it's +170. Still a pretty good price just for him to get one goal tonight at FanDuel. So, yeah, Andrei Kuzmenko, absolutely for Vancouver, anytime goal prop, +170. He needs one to get to 40 goals tonight in this game. And I'm just trying to see here anything else in terms of by the way, I forgot to mention Kempe in the last game for the LA Kings. Adrian Kempe. I knew there was one I was missing in that game from an achievement standpoint as far as the props. Adrian Kempe, he needs 2 goals to get to 40. He's at 38 for the LA Kings entering this finale against Anaheim, and nobody yields goals, hemorrhages goals like the Anaheim Ducks. So Adrian Kempe to score a goal, and even the 2+ goals for Kempe in that game against the Ducks tonight. I like it quite a bit. He needs 2 goals. He's at 38. He needs 2 more to get to 40 goals. So I'm on that in that game. Kuzmenko to score a goal tonight for Vancouver, +170. Again, that's a really great price on that. And I'm also on over 6.5 here with the Canucks and the Coyotes. Maybe a draw sprinkle too, because it feels like it could be one of those games. What do you think here, Alex? Vancouver, Arizona.
Well, I hope you and Eddie Lack enjoy watching this game, because I won't be. It's a pass.
I don't know. I won't be watching much of it anyway. He will, not me. I won't be watching much of it. At this time of night, I'll be watching. I'll be watching a little LA and Vegas, Seattle mostly because there's still some division to win for the Vegas Golden Knights. So that matters too. Oh, Clayton Keller too. Yes, thank you. I had that written down, Rich H. I had that written down. Clayton Keller looking to make Arizona Coyotes history. 85 points for him. He needs 2 points to break Big Walt's single season record. Of course, Big Walt is Keith Tkachuk. That was his nickname when he played. 2 more points to break Keith Tkachuk's single season franchise record of 86, which he set back in, I think, the inaugural season when they moved from Winnipeg, the original Winnipeg Jets, to the Phoenix Coyotes, 96-97. Keith Tkachuk had 86 points for the Phoenix Coyotes at the time. Clayton Keller's got 85, and he needs 2 points to get to 87 tonight and break that record being held by Keith Tkachuk. So, yeah, give me Clayton Keller. Where's Clayton Keller's point prop? Again, it's going to be over 1.5 because he needs 2 points, and over 1.5 is plus 168 at FanDuel. Sign me up. Clayton Keller. Solid.
Yep. I'm stunned. I was stunned the other day.
You will watch that game a little bit if you bet that.
Yeah. I might track it. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm stunned that 87 points is the record for that franchise.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, I was stunned the other day with Hughes, like, said, he needed 4 for 100. That I'm like, no one for New Jersey in all those years have never gotten, I've never been a 100-point season, for a player. I find that fascinating with some of these teams. Like, a lot of scorers throughout and are you talking about, that's just straight Arizona history, right? That's not counting
franchise history. Yeah.
Oh, that's counting the old, that's not counting the old Winnipeg Jets.
That's a really good question because all I'm seeing in the print here is franchise record. Single.
Yeah, it had to be because what that would mean Solani with his 76 goals had to have way more than that.
Coyotes.
So,
it's got to be
Coyotes
from the time they moved from Winnipeg, the original Jets. You're right. Solani had more than that.
They were they were one of the franchises. And keep that in mind. Some things like Dallas and Minnesota, like the Minnesota North Stars, going to the Dallas Stars. But I think Arizona, because of the new Winnipeg Jets, they were actually able to separate their franchise record. So just a fun fact.
Yeah, it's got to be a Phoenix/Arizona Coyotes franchise record that Clayton Keller is after here tonight for the Arizona Coyotes. Because I'm seeing it right now. Yeah, I knew it. 90. I knew Damo Solani had a 100-point season. I remember it. Yeah, he had 132 points with the Winnipeg Jets in 92-93. Yeah. So this is a Phoenix/Arizona Coyotes reincarnation of this record, which Keith Tkachuk has. And that was the first season I think they were in Phoenix, 96-97. So again, Clayton Keller is at 85. Tkachuk had 86 points that season. So he needs 2 to beat that record and get to 87. So Clayton Keller over 1.5 points. Sign me up. I mean, isn't this great? Isn't this cool? You'll be able to track all these milestones. I have I'm not at a high level of expectations because you never know. You miss the net, you hit the post, the goalie's, playing well against you that night. It's not like a given, some of these guys, but in theory, logically, these are good bets because you're going to get incentive from all of these players to get to 40 goals, 50 goals, get point records, break franchise records, break team records, get to these individual milestones. Kuzmenko to get 40. It's on down the list. There's tons of these spots tonight.
And Evan Bouchard actually getting money. I think that might be the most incentive of all. So.
Yeah, exactly. Evan Bouchard, no doubt. That one definitely for the financial incentives. Definitely you would think he's going to be chomping at the bit to make an impact. All right, we've hit the final game of this massive slate. Vegas Golden Knights, Seattle Kraken. We've got Vegas minus 115, road favorites in Seattle. The total in this one sitting at 6. Pretty much across the board in this one. Obviously, we know what Vegas needs to do to clinch the division. A win in any way will get that done here for the Vegas. Actually, not even a win, a one point, a regulation or shootout loss for the I should say an overtime or a shootout loss for the Vegas Golden Knights would be enough tonight to clinch the Pacific Division, and of course, a win would do the same as well. So. I definitely think they should get the job done here. Seattle, it is their home finale, though. And even though for them, it's an outside chance at them, tying LA. I think LA might still get the third place spot. We'll see. But, I definitely wouldn't step in front of Vegas because of what they need here as far as clinching the Pacific Division is concerned. But again, they only need 1 point. And for that reason, rather than taking Vegas, because, I do think they probably have a decent shot to win this game tonight. As far as the goaltending matchup is concerned, it is Philip Grubauer, confirmed in net for Seattle here in their final regular season and final home game of the season, and it will be Laurent Brossoit once again for the Vegas Gold. Like, he's the game one starter. I mean, that is becoming crystal clear right now. He keeps getting these starts down the stretch here, and even though Hill is closing in on a return and Logan Thompson even might be available at some point, it sure looks like Laurent Brossoit is going to be the guy, at least for game one for Vegas in the first round. So while I think Vegas has a good chance to win this game, they only need a point, and for that reason, give me the draw here in this one with the Golden Knights and the Kraken. I like that look. Again, 1 point will get the job done for the Vegas Golden Knights as far as clinching the Pacific Division. So for me, I'm going to go with that draw here. Vegas, Seattle, draw at FanDuel plus 360 in this game. And as far as the milestones in this game, Marchessault to get to 30, he needs 2. So the Marchessault goal prop, Marchessault even a 2+ goal prop sprinkle, well worth a look, trying to get to 30 goals this year for the Vegas Golden Knights. On the Seattle side, they've had just incredible seasons from multiple players, including Jared McCann, who's just been absolutely sensational, of course, for the Seattle Kraken all season long. So when you look at I'm looking at the Seattle side in terms of who's got some potential milestones. See, McCann hit 40 the other night, so that's done. There's really no one else that can get to any kind of major plateau. When I'm just filtering out the stats here on the Seattle side, doesn't look like it. I'm just seeing, no, there's not really someone that's looking for 40 goals, 50 goals, 30 goals. As far as point props are concerned, Matty Beniers could get to 60, but he needs 3 points for that. Don't necessarily know if he'll get there tonight in that game. So nothing really on the Seattle side as far as any major achievement numbers for players to get. What do you think here, Alex? Final game, Vegas, Seattle.
And I say all these are already, franchise records because it's just year 2 for Seattle. So you're just building upon a record that'll be broken later, basically. Yep. But I like the draw here as well. Like I said, both teams just needing just 1 point, especially Vegas, to secure the division. This definitely feels like one of those games that we'll see a little bit of competitive energy, but then it just slows down. Both teams want to keep everybody healthy, play it safe, take your point, figure out what happens in overtime or a shootout, and then get ready for the real deal.
And I'm going to do it one last time for good old time's sake, because he started to heat up again for the Vegas Golden Knights, getting this top line opportunity, or at least he did. I think he's second line now. Nick Waugh and Riley Smith on his line, but Michael Amadio, why not? This was a guy we were cashing some serious goal props with earlier in the year, and he's been eating up a little bit again here down the stretch. So I'm going to get involved there a little bit with Amadio for the Golden Knights. Anytime goal at a nice price there, plus 460 at FanDuel. Why not? Because he's been heating up a little bit as of late. Yeah, Nugent Hopkins, 3 away from 40. Yeah, outside shot there with him to get 40. Needs a hat trick for it to happen. But and I think Connor McDavid, actually, the focus is going to be that's the thing. If McDavid wasn't going to break the Ovechkin record for the most goals in a single NHL season since the turn of the century, 2000, then it would be more possible for Nugent Hopkins to feed him the puck more. But no, I think they're going to be feeding McDavid a lot tonight, trying to get into the 66 goals that he needs to pass Ovechkin. But not saying Nuge can't do it, but I focused in more on McDavid there in that Edmonton game as far as the goal props. But you never know. Nugent Hopkins can certainly do it, but he needs 3 to get to 40. I would say if you want to bet Nugent Hopkins, just go for that hat trick prop. Screw the single goal or the 2 goals. Just go for the hat trick prop because he needs 3 to get to 40. Actually, you know what? Before we do the Manscaped ad and wrap up best bets, I'm going to just take a gander at the odds there for hat trick in particular for Nugent Hopkins tonight, because I know it's going to end up being an absolutely insane
1850.
Yeah, for him to get 3 goals tonight. Let me just see here the multi goal score props. Let me just see multi goal scores plus 80 to 1, plus 8,000 for Ryan Nugent Hopkins to get a hat trick here tonight. Okay. 2 goals or more for McDavid, plus 180. By the way, and he needs 2 to break Ovechkin's record. So I'm on both of those. As I mentioned earlier, McDavid 1 goal, McDavid 2 goals. But yeah, just something very tiny on Nugent Hopkins to get a hat trick because he needs 3 to get to 40 goals, 80-1. There you go.
Why not?
Why not?
That's better than a lottery ticket.
It's the last big slate of the regular season. As long as you keep your amounts in check and very tiny, very small bets, you could spring some nice profit if some of these hit and some of these players get these goals that they're looking to get tonight in this final regular season game. All right, good stuff. What a show. Packed it with tons of information, tons of props that we think are very live based on the player milestones, player achievements that they can get to based on tonight's game. So hit the like button. 220 live viewers. We appreciate it very much. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. This is probably one of the better shows we've done all year just based on the info we've given you on all these players and all these props here coming in down the home stretch. We will wrap things up in just a moment with best bets. A reminder, check out patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, Daily Ice Guys show betting card, bonus content, and plenty more. Make sure you check it out. Patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month.
Also, check out the Ice Guys store. We got free shipping for the next 4 days. So if you've been waiting to order, get yourself a T-shirt or a cap or a hoodie, get something right now. You get free standard shipping for the next 4 days. Once you go to iceguys.myspreadshop.com, click on the top to redeem that coupon, and you can go shop away. So iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Free standard shipping for the next 4 days.
All right, there you go. Get involved with that at the Ice Guys store. All right, best bets coming up right after we hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there, and it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code ICEGUYS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, time for best bets here. One last long regular season show in the books. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
It's so tough because, there's a lot to choose from. But I'm going to go with this play. And like I said, I got this at Bet Online. You can find this at a lot of shops where you can kind of mix and match with your shot on goal props. We're going Mika Zibanejad, 4 shots on goal or more. I got that at plus 145 at Bet Online. He literally said himself he's going to be trying to shoot as much and as often as possible to hit that goal milestone. I think he's going to get a ton of looks and a ton of chances at it. That's great plus value for him to just get at least 4 shots on net. We're going with that. Mika's advantage at 4 more shots plus 145. That is my best bet for this Thursday.
All right, going for the uptick in the shots on goal count tonight for Mika Zibanejad. And he's quoted in the media of saying, I'm shooting the puck a lot tonight as I'm trying to get to 40 goals here for the New York Rangers. And he only needs 1 to get there. But obviously he's going to try to fire that puck a lot to get there. Obviously. So over that 4+ shots on goal, Mika Zibanejad, New York Rangers at that great plus price for Alex B. Smith with his best bet. You know what? Because I really like so many of these props tonight, I'm just going to go for a prop look tonight. And for me, it's going to be Braden Point, Tampa Bay. And I've been not a big fan of Tampa Bay, but this Detroit team has kind of quit defensively here the last few games. He only needs just 1 goal to get the milestone of 50 goals in a season. He's at 49 right now. He needs just one more goal to get to 50. I think it's a wonderful bet tonight on Braden Point to get the 50th goal against a team that has been giving up a lot of goals here the last few games. Let's go Braden Point, Tampa Bay Lightning, anytime goal score, plus 106 at FanDuel. That is going to be my best bet here for this Thursday NHL card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. And a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Friday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.